So this is the last part. We're going to bump it up just a notch. I know I gave you a lot of notes for that concept too, but there's just a little bit more here. And then I do have a quizzes practice I want you to try on your own. Hopefully you've seen that. You can actually try that last page on your own if you'd like to before I start. But you do have the notes, complete notes that you need to take a picture of and post those in Schoology, or excuse me, in Summit for me, so I can give you credit for those, as well as in Schoology, the checkpoint number 15. Which does have a practice over like this quizzes practice. It's very similar. So here we go. We're going to bump it up a notch. So I know you're like, why are we bumping it up a notch? I don't like this. All right, but here we go. I've got x squareds on the front and y squareds on the back. All that does is try to mess with you. Really and truly what it means is I'm going to have an x and an x, and then I'm going to have a y and a y, because x times x is x squared. Something y gives me y squared at the end. Now I can use my numbers and my signs just like normal. In between, I'm going to have a yx and an xy. Those go alphabetical because they're both xy's. So factors of 1 times 15 is 15. Same signs, both negative, so negative and negative. They give me negative 8. The factors of 15 that add up to 8. 1 and 15, 3 and 5. There we go, 3 and 5. So minus 3 and minus 5. So pause me now and try the next two. They're just like that. All right, so the next set we're going to have is J's and K's. So we're going to do a J and a K, a J and a K. Factors of negative 72, because 1 times negative 72 is negative 72. And my in between here is a 1, a positive 1, a difference of 1. So I need factors, different signs, biggest one's positive. So I have a plus something and a minus something. So when I add them, I get 1. So I start with the difference of them to be 1. 1 and 72, 2 and 36. 3 and 24. Oh, I know that's 9. How about 9 and 8? 9 times 8 is 72. I've got a positive 9 and a negative 8 gives me a positive 1. Positive 9, negative 8. Next one, I've got M and I've got an N. Factors of negative 48 that add up to negative 2. Different signs, so plus and minus. My bigger one is negative. So negative, positive. 48. I can do 1 and 48, 2 and 24, 3 and 16, 4 and 12, 5, no, 6 and 8. There we go. 6 and 8, but I want the bigger one to be negative, so 8 and 6. Oops. I want negative 8n and then plus 6n. There we go. So a lot of this is just being able to like logic through, reason through, which I told you from the very beginning. That's all algebra is logic and reason. So here we go. What do you notice here? Well, let's go ahead and factor like normal. X and an X. I got factors of 9 that add up to 6. So 3 and 3, positive, positive. So positive 3 and positive 3. So now I'm saying, what do you notice? Hopefully you notice that these again are the exact same. If they're the exact same, I can write it as x plus 3 quantity squared. This next one, I'm going to have x and an x. I want factors of 64 that give me negative 16. Same signs, both negative. And again, I'm knowing that 9 is a perfect square. I did 3 and 3. I see that 64 is a perfect square. So if I were to try 8 and 8, well, 8 plus 8 is 16. Negative 8 plus negative 8 is negative 16. So 8 and 8, which I know then is x minus 8 quantity squared. So it's kind of a special one. Okay, so these are specials. So when I ask you what do you notice, hopefully you notice that they have a perfect square here, because x squared is x times x, and perfect square in the end, which is 8 times 8, or in this case, 3 times 3. In this case, it's going to be 5 times 5. Now, the thing you have to remember is that the middle term has to add up to the same, like to both of those added together. So this one is going to be x and x. Oops. Ooh, I don't know what I just did. Erase that. X and x. And same signs, both positive. They have to be the same, otherwise it's not going to be perfect. So same signs, and they're both positive. And again, I'm going to do the 25, and I'm going to do the 10, and 5 and 5. 5 plus 5 is 10, 5 times 5 is 25. They're both positive. All right, now we're getting down to the next set. The next set are special as well. These are binomials. However, binomial can be written like this because there's no b value. So this is ax squared plus 0x minus 64. So I'm going to end up with x and x. Now this is different sign. So if I were to do the 64 negative and I want 0, I want the same number twice. 8 and 8 plus and minus. So plus 8 minus 8. So what this is this is a difference of two squares. So I have a minus sign here, which means difference. And this is a perfect square, and this is a perfect square. So it's a difference of two squares, which means when I factor it, it's going to be square root, plus minus. So this one's the same thing. This is m squared plus 0m minus 81, which means m and m, square root of 81 is 9, different signs, plus and minus. This is a difference of two squares. And the last one here is going to be the same idea. X and x, square root of 100 is 10, different signs, plus and minus. I say pretty in the front, pretty in the back, like perfect and perfect, with a minus in between. Then we get down to the quizzes practice. The quizzes practice, I want you to try this on your own. And after you've tried this on your own, I will give you the answers.